Hello there, Statname here, and today we're gonna continue analyzing the strongest regulars out there. Today we have one of the strongest players on 888 Poker. His nickname is Lagarota9, and we see a very impressive graph with a red line hanging around 0. He played 158k hands total, with a win rate of 11.2. He mostly played short-handed tables. Almost all of his hands he played on NL 200 with a phenomenal win rate of 12.7 big blinds per 100. Okay, as usual, let's go over 3 hands from our hero, and here is the first one for you. Okay, we have an open limp, we isolate ace-jack offsuit on the button, we get called by the small blind, and the open limper calls as well. Okay, we can bet third of the pot here, which is what hero does. Well, basically we have 2 key options in this pot like this. We can either check back, which is totally fine, or we can bet, but we have to block bet pretty much because we want to keep the pot small with our mediocre hand. We face a check raise, we call it, and then overbet shove on the turn, which we call again. Okay, let's think about the spot, how good this hand actually is as a bluff catcher. We actually want to know if we were right to bet call on the flop as well. And to figure it out, we want to know who our opponent is. So I checked this guy. He plays 46-14 with a pretty solid lose rate of minus 110 BBs per 100. Well, he's clearly a recreational player, and he also is quite aggressive. His aggression frequencies are huge on pretty much every street, 59, 52, and 42. And what's also very important, he has a high check raising frequency on the flop. Okay, so we play against a very aggressive recreational player, which is of course good for us all in all. Okay, on the flop we cannot fold this hand yet, even when he check raises, we want to call at least once. We can improve still, he can check on the turn, giving us an opportunity to see the river card and realize our equity. So yeah, we call here and then decide. And the biggest question of this hand, should we call this overbet shove on the turn? Well, this is definitely the right type of opponent to bluff catch against. He is very aggressive and he is also a recreational player, and the board is also decent for bluff catching. I mean, there are a lot of possible straight draws and flush draws on the turn, which our opponent can easily have, and none of those improved on the turn. On the other hand, though, the sizing is way too big. And considering we have only second pair on the turn, we definitely have a lot of much better candidates for calling in our range here. So by default, I would definitely fold here, even against such an aggressive recreational player. I would only call if we have enough information on this player specifically. We have some reads, we have seen some of his showdowns, and we know that he actually is capable of bluffing for all of his stack. And not just capable of it, but does it consistently. Or we need to be sure that he is tilting right now. So yeah, only in those cases I recommend you calling that wide. But anyways, our hero has called. And hero showed just a random hand, king 8. So yeah, our hero was totally right on this one. And he won the whole stack, so good for him. Now to the second hand. Small blind opens with 3-bet queens, all very standard until now. Standard c-bet, great board for a wide c-betting range. We face a check raise here. Well, of course, we have to defend our hand. King on the turn, bringing a second flush draw on the board, and our opponent bets less than third. Hero shoves against this bet. Let's think about his line. And of course we want to answer the question of is this shove on the turn good or not. Well, actually this hand is almost all about combinatorics, but I will nonetheless show you how stats can actually help us to make decisions like that. Okay, when we shove here, let's first think what hands our opponent can have here. What hands we lose to. And we want to start from the flop. But first, let's take a look who are we facing here. Okay, the guy is regular. He is pretty consistent. He wins money. And basically, pretty much all the regulars have similar preflop ranges. So, first of all, he never has pocket kings here, because all of his kings he would 4-bet preflop. He won't also have any ace-king combos, I believe, and probably we would never see pocket threes and pocket deuces here in his range. Now let's also see his folding to a 3-bet frequency. On a small blind, when he is out of position, he folds 59%. Yeah, well, with this folding frequency, I don't expect him to ever show up with pocket deuces and pocket threes on the flop. If he were to fold like 50% or less against a 3-bet, then we should definitely at least expect him to sometimes have pocket threes or deuces. But here it's like extremely unlikely. And of course he doesn't have any 2-pair combos. What else does he have in his range that is stronger than our hand? King-Queen, but we block King-Queen pretty heavily. In terms of bluffs, he would definitely have some bluffs here, I believe. Well, at least his flush draws, right? Hard draw. Backdoor spade draw, and trying to defend against these semi-bluffs and also realizing that the villain has pretty much no value hands in his range, or at least a small number of those. Our hero decided to shove, and I like this decision a lot. Or some type of mergy protection shove. We also want him to have, the villain, high check raising numbers for our shove to be good. And he does check raise quite a lot on the flop, 15%. And I think he is definitely capable of bluffing with those check raises. Well, this time he called and he showed a flush draw. So not only we have defended against his flush draw, but we also managed to get maximum value against his hand. So yeah, a great jam against a moderately aggressive opponent. And the final hand for today. We steal on the button and we get a 3-bet from this small blind. Unfortunately, we can't see it because of some hand-to-node bug. But anyways, we call. Oh, we can see the 3-bet sizing now. It is 11.5. A large c-bet from our opponent, and we simply shove against it. Not a very standard shove again, and let's go over it. Let's think how good this shove actually is against this guy. First of all, we want to know who he is. Sasha-san at 28-22. For a shove like this, we really want him to have a wide 3-bet in range, and we were small blind versus button, I believe, and against the button he 3-bets 18% from the small blind. And this is wider than average for this field, which is of course great for us, for our decision to shove. Our hero probably realizes it, and we shove top pair, top kicker to get some value from 10x combos that are weaker than ours, from some flush draws. And I believe this way our hero makes this hand easier to play. And I also like this decision a lot. So yeah, nice jam. I mean, pretty borderline jam anyways, but still a good one. I mean, at least it is acceptable. Opponent calls eventually and shows a 10 that is weaker, Jack 10. This is it for today. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and see you around.